My mother didn't say goodbye. She gave me a clue. And in that moment, my world wasn't ending. It was beginning. I always imagined her last words would be soft, loving, comforting. But life and death had other plans. Because when she took her final breath, she didn't whisper, "I love you." She pulled me close, looked into my eyes, and said 8 words that would change everything. Find the place where the river splits. No explanation, no farewell, just a clue. At first, my heart refused to understand it. The hospital machines were still beeping. The room was full of voices, movement, chaos. But to me, everything went silent. Those 8 words rang louder than grief. And when she squeezed my hand, one last time, weak but certain, it didn't say goodbye. It said, "Go." She was gone before I could ask her what she meant. The days that followed blurred into shadows. Funeral, faces, condolences, empty cups of untouched tea. People kept saying, "She's in a better place." But all I could think was, what place did she want me to find? My mother had always been ordinary, quiet, routine-driven, predictable. She didn't like riddles, mysteries, or unfinished sentences. So why would her final words be a puzzle? That question sat in my mind like an itch, begging to be scratched. Then one night, while sorting through her belongings, I found an envelope tucked inside her old diary. Yellow paper, no address, no name, just 2 words written in her handwriting. For you. My breath froze. Inside was a hand-drawn map, imperfect but intentional. Faded pencil lines traced a forest, a small bridge, and a river that split into 2 paths. At the bottom, she had written a note. Not everything buried is meant to stay hidden. My heart dropped. This wasn't a coincidence. This was a mission. And suddenly I knew I wasn't grieving a closed chapter. I had just been handed the prologue to a secret. 3 days later, with nothing but the map, a backpack, and a restless heart, I left home. The village marked at the corner of the map didn't even appear on Google. No hotels, no history, no explanation. When I arrived, the air smelled of old wood and rain-washed earth. The roads were narrow, the houses were ancient, the people walked slow, as if the village itself was holding its breath. I asked around about a river that splits in 2. Old faces froze. Younger ones shook their heads. But one man, very old, leaning on a wooden cane, only said, "Some paths want to stay forgotten." He pointed toward the forest. I didn't hesitate. The trees swallowed the daylight as I stepped in. Leaves crunched under my boots. The air grew colder. And then I heard it. Water. Flowing. Dividing. I followed the sound, and there it was. A river splitting in 2 directions just like the map showed. In the center stood a stone marker covered by moss. I knelt, brushed it clean, and carved into the surface were words in my mother's handwriting. Truth begins where the river divides. My pulse hammered. Behind the stone was loose soil, recently disturbed, not ancient. I dug with my hands. Minutes passed, fingertips burned, nails filled with dirt, and then metal. A small, rusted box. My breath shook as I opened it. Inside was a key, a photograph, and a letter. The picture showed my mother as a young woman, smiling beside a man I had never seen. I unfolded the letter. "My child, by the time you read this, I will be free, and you will be confused. This man was not a memory. He was your beginning. You were never meant to inherit a secret, but truth has a way of choosing its heir. Follow the key. It opens the door I was forced to close, not to haunt you, but to free you. Forgive me for the silence. Thank you for the search. With love, always. Mom." My chest caved in. A father I never knew, a door I was never meant to open, a life erased before mine even began. My mother hadn't died leaving a goodbye. She had died leaving a revelation. The key led me to an abandoned house at the edge of the village, hidden behind overgrown vines. The lock groaned when I turned it. Inside was dust, time, and truth. Letters between two lovers, photos of a life interrupted, and a document I never expected to find. A birth record, not erased, hidden. My identity was never a mystery to her. It was a protection. Someone once tried to erase the past, but she preserved it, quietly, patiently, painfully. Tears rolled down my face, not from sadness, but from the weight of finally knowing. My mother didn't leave me a map to a place. She left me a map to myself. When I walked back out of that house, the sunset was waiting. Soft, golden, final. And in that moment, I understood. Some goodbyes sound like heartbreak. Some sound like riddles. And some sound like a journey. Because love doesn't always end with a last breath. Sometimes it begins with one.